Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. I'd like to take a moment to talk about something that I posted on my Facebook page. Got some very mixed reaction. A lot of what I share on the Facebook page, the memes that I share, a lot of them are just memes that I come across that I think will resonate with someone, that might help someone else. A lot of them I think are just funny, little sarcasm, little wit. A lot of what I share might be a little tongue-in-cheek, some of it not so much, but I think that it will resonate with someone and maybe help someone or be a message that they need at that moment in time. The ones that I do share that are actually mine, I put a watermark on so you know they're mine. And though this one in particular was not mine, immediately upon reading it, it spoke to me. I felt that it came on a little bit strong in the beginning, and then the way it ended, I thought, no, this might be what someone needs to hear. I got a very mixed reaction. And so I want to talk about it, and why I shared it, and what it meant to me in the moment that I read it, and why I thought it would help other people, and just have a little discussion about it. I'm just going to go ahead and read it. It says, the problem wasn't him, it was you. You made excuses for his bad behavior, you accepted his obvious lies, and you gave him another chance again and again. You sold yourself short, you didn't believe you deserved better, and you stayed too long. You learned the hard way, but you learned. So there are many things wrong with that. I see that, I get it. First of all, it's not always a him, it's a her. We all know that. Narcissism has no gender. That's another thing that always strikes me as peculiar. I'll share a meme and it's something that's directed at narcissistic men, and someone will go off the deep end, women are narcissists too. But I absolutely know about narcissistic women because I was raised by a narcissistic woman. That always kind of strikes me as, yes, I know, I didn't write this, it wasn't mine. Narcissism has no gender. The idea that, first of all, it's aimed at a male may not necessarily ring true with everyone. The other thing, obviously, that someone could find wrong with it is that it seems to place the blame on the victim or the target of the narcissist. We all know that that's not the thing to do, and it's not the thing to say. The reason it resonated with me is because, as many of you know, I've shared it probably in earlier videos. I wrote about it in my book. In our very last session together, my ex-hole and myself, the very last therapy session that we had, after meeting with us several times and then speaking with us independently, she brought us in and sat us down and pointedly said, I only have one person to blame. And I thought, ooh, here we go. She's gonna let him have it. And I couldn't have been more wrong. She said, I have one person to blame, and it's you. And she looked at me. I wrote about it. I almost went into full Springer mode when she said that. I was like, are you kidding me? But what she went on to say was exactly what was said in this meme, that I was to blame. If I'm not mistaken, these were her words. I was to blame for having allowed this to go on for so long. In saying that, and this is why I'm doing this video, I think it's very worthwhile to discuss this. In saying that to me, she wasn't blaming me for the abuse. She wasn't blaming me for everything that had unfolded during those 24 years of marriage. What she was saying was, she recognized me as an intelligent, capable woman. In speaking to her, I acknowledged his behaviors. I acknowledged the patterns. I acknowledged the emotional abuse, the emotional discard, the mental abuse, all of the things that had gone on in our marriage for decades. Basically, what she was doing was empowering me by saying, you see these things, you recognize these things, you saw the patterns, and you stayed anyway. You allowed it to go on. You let this happen. Now, without going into trauma bonding and all those things that I've discussed in other videos, we all know what that's like. She basically, in saying that, empowered me to go, oh, I allowed this to happen. Well, now, guess what? I'm going to end it. She empowered me by saying that, I believe. I think that if I had gone in there with a completely different demeanor. I told one of my girlfriends, I said, if I had walked in there and I was sitting on her couch, rocking back and forth, plucking out my eyelashes, she would have been like, oh my gosh, you poor little thing. You've been a victim. You've been abused, and you've been, no. She saw that that's not who I was. She saw that I was a strong woman. She saw that I was capable. She saw that I had a strong will, and that the good in me wanted to stick around to try to bring out the good in him. If you're watching this, that's not going to happen. That is just not going to happen. I don't care how good of a person you are. I don't care how much you put into a relationship. If you are with a narcissist, you're not going to change that person. There's nothing you can do to change their behaviors, to change their thinking, to change their ways. Truly, the only thing left to do in that situation is save yourself. Whether it's been a month, a year, a decade, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. I'm hearing from a lot of people that they've been in a relationship for decades. They're scared to leave. They feel that their life is over. They feel they're washed up, that there's nothing left. There's no reason to, even try to pull themselves away from this abusive relationship, because there isn't anything else out there for them. You know what's out there for you? Peace. Some peace and quiet and some happiness. It is never too late. And she empowered me. That therapist empowered me to say, you're right. You're right. I have allowed this to happen. I have put up with it all this time. And I now have the right and the voice to say enough. When I posted that, I immediately came under attack, literally online. Some people, private messaged me. Some people were very vocal on the page, and that's okay. I get it. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, but I felt that this was important enough to discuss it in this manner and to voice why I felt compelled to share it, and to share that there is another way of looking at this. And I really appreciated some of the people who did comment and did step up and say, you know what? I remember literally one of the people said, 5 years ago, this would have upset me. 5 years ago, this, would have had my hackles on end, so on and so forth. But they've come to realize that, we were in a position to make other decisions. We were in a position to say, you know what, pal, get lost. And we made a decision to stay, whatever our decisions were, whether it was, trying to find the good in that person, whether it was thinking we could make a change, thinking we could bring out the good in them, staying for our children, whatever it was, we made the decisions to allow it to go on, to allow it to continue, rather than just walk away, rather than end it. There are just two very distinctive ways of looking at that. And one of them that I feel is the best is to say that woman empowered me by saying, you've allowed this, now it's time to stop it. It's time to stop this pattern. It's time to stop this madness. It's time to regain your sanity, your dignity, your emotions, sound mental state. And you're not going to do it here with him. You have a choice. You have an option. That's why that resonated with me, and that's why I shared it. And wow, did it cause a storm. But I still feel that it was worth it. I know that everybody has some very strong opinions about things like this, but I feel that it was worth it, and I'm glad that I shared it. It brought up a lot of good conversation, brought up a lot of good points, and I can see why some people were upset about it, or maybe they didn't even finish reading it. I think that when we are in that state, when we are fresh out of those relationships and feeling wounded, feeling extremely vulnerable and extremely raw, it doesn't take much to set you off. It doesn't take much to feel a sense of outrage when you feel as though you're being blamed for the situation that you stayed in. It's a very difficult thing to work through. Once again, it takes time. And everybody's on their own timeline. Everybody's on their own healing journey. It's a very personal thing. It's a lot like grieving. No one can tell you how to do it. No one can tell you, oh, you've been grieving too long, or, oh, geez, can't you get over that? No, this is just like that. It's very much like grief. Healing from emotional abuse is very much like grief, and grief is part of it. It's a very personal thing, but I thought I would discuss it with you. I figured it was worth a conversation, and I always appreciate everybody's feedback and everybody's comments. They're just so valuable to other people that see the page, or other people who are seeing the videos and reading the comments and getting other people's opinions on the subjects that may come up. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everyone's feedback and opinions and support. That's it for this video. Stay tuned because I've got another one coming right up. Thanks for joining me. Ciao for now.